Did you hear me? I said Dylan Watts is here. Do you know Dylan?
Let me.
Hi, I'm new. I don't think anyone knows me.
I didn't recognize you, Dylan. That's why I was saying you were here.
We've gotten information about you, Dylan, already. As soon as you
Do you?
Yeah, as soon as you go into the website, it takes sucks every last bit of data. Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of like Google.
Hope you enjoyed.
I haven't released it to the public yet. I'm thinking about it. Yeah. Well, what brought you here, Dylan? How did you arrive here?
So I from YouTube. So I would listen to David Parrish a lot. I don't know if you know of David Parrish, but he mentioned you in one of his books on non-duality. And yeah, I just found my way to your videos and saw your website, saw that you guys met, and just wanted to see what this is about. So
Oh, great. David Parrish.
yeah,
He met
he
me.
is he's a psychologist, and he is a therapist, and he's kind of turned to like more of the Eastern wisdom traditions to help his patients kind of
Cool.
figure things out.
Tell him I said hello.
Okay.
Yeah. That's nice. Well, you have an idea of the non-duality.
Yeah. Oh no, it'll be way down.
Oh, Jesus. Someone, I mean, it shocked me for a second.
That was Greg.
Well, I think we lost Dylan already. Oh, that's good.
No, I'm here.
Oh,
Sorry,
so you heard the non-duality, right? The non-duality.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the way that the eye can hear about it.
Yes. That's very good. Yes.
Yeah.
So that seeing how the eye hears it is the message, literally. Yeah. Good. Dylan, you already graduated. I give you an A plus.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean,
tougher questions later.
Yeah, thank you.
What did David Parrish say about us? Not the whole thing, but why did he why did I come up, so to speak?
It came up from I guess a focus that he mentioned about your talks, which is the presupposed non-existent self.
Yes.
Seeking liberation from the non-existent self.
Yes, well, that comes from Ramana Maharshi.
Mm.
He says it in different ways, but there are a number of things he says in different ways. And if I'm not a scholar, but if you go, when I went to India, they had these little 5-cent booklets, and it was always a different person who had listened to Ramana over the years, and they would have these things said in just a different way, but they were obviously every one of them said it, and it was usually when something was important, it was like the problem or the greatest mystery. So that's when something's coming is important to hear, so to speak. And this one stuck with me, this one description, which is there's a presupposing. So pre obviously implies time, yeah? So for something to have pre and pro, it'd have to be time, yes? One comes first, the other comes second. So a presupposing, and now I've had many experiences assuming stuff that wasn't true. Yeah, just simple, like assuming a store was open, to the point that I didn't call to see if the store was open. I just assumed they were open, and I would drive, and then I'd be surprised that they were closed, even though when I looked at the door, it has closed on Thursday. Yeah, and so you would think I would understand that, but then there's many assumptions about a lot of stuff that's assumed, and they don't get looked at that much. Yeah, and the obviousness of the store being closed was a pretty direct demonstration. But this presupposing you're not doing it, first of all. So the mental process is doing it. And basically, with a weird misunderstanding about the mental process and what we are representing, we take a lot of, we're presented as being the doer of a lot of stuff we have nothing to do with. Yeah, so this is like the presupposing. And the primary presupposing is there's the non-existent thing. So that's the fact. He's stating a fact. Yeah. The non-existent thing is the fact. And then there's a presupposing about that non-existent thing of being an existent thing. See? But the non-existent thing is a non-existent thing. The thing is not saying anything, yay or nay. It's just a non-existent thing, but it can be taken to be an existent thing through the auspices of the head. Yes, so the head assumes or presupposes this idea. So it can believe that when it dies, it's going to be a non-existent thing. Yeah, but it doesn't start with being a non-existent thing. It starts from a manufactured point that leaves the non-existent thing fact away, and then assumes and jumps into the non-existent thing is an existent thing. Yeah, so existence gets mixed up with the thing. Yeah, so the demonstration of the existence isn't to prove the existence, it's to prove prove the thing. Yeah, of what? Being existing. So the non-existent thing is assumed to be existing all day. So basically we start at this fallacy that we're an existent thing. And actually in this run of time, it's inevitable you're going to be brought to the fact that you're a non-existent thing. Because there's something called death, which is the final reveal. And then if you've been fortunate enough to see someone you knew that you took to be an existent thing, and they had passed away, and you were brought to the wake or the funeral, and you were brought up to that casket, and you saw who you thought was an existent thing for quite a long time, then when you see it truly as the non-existent thing, you realize the presupposing was a mistake. Yeah. So I saw, when I was 9 years old, an Uncle Fred died, and I didn't have constant contact with him, but I saw him at a lot of family things. And obviously I assumed Uncle Fred was the body. Yeah. And so Uncle Fred passed away, and my mom brought me in front to the casket to say goodbye to Uncle Fred. And when I saw the non-existent thing, I saw it as a non-existent thing. And there was obviously no Fred. And was a whack, but then I just went on being a 9-year-old kid, but it left an effect. And then as I got different understandings, I realized why I saw Uncle Fred, the existence as the thing itself, because I was looking from that same misunderstanding. So I was taking the body to be Paul, when actually the body is a non-existent thing. So what's allowing it to be animated isn't the body, obviously. It's like a puppet. The puppet can move, but it's never moving itself. Yeah, something has to be moved. Or like the telescope can facilitate seeing the stars, but never sees a star, ever. The telescope has never seen a star, period. Yeah. But if existent looks through the telescope, it can see a star. It facilitates that. Well, the same saying. So then you hear non-duality in this statement. So Ramana continues, and it says, when this starts to occur, you now want to seek salvation for the existent thing. And obviously, you can see, if you've heard that it's a non-existent thing, you can see how that's going to work out. Yeah. So he says, so basically, this is mostly the starting point of most spiritual seekers. They've leaped over the non-existent thing mistake, and now they're an existent thing, and they want to get salvation for the existent thing. And they may get involved in spiritual practices. So the next sentence he says, in this situation, if this is the case, which it is, that there's been a mistake and the non-existent thing is now seen as the existent thing, and you want to gain salvation as the existent thing. Your spiritual practices themselves are reinforcing the non-existent thing as what? As an existent thing. How can they destroy it? So now this hit me when I got introduced and heard non-duality. That hit me very heavily, yeah, because I felt I got caught with my pants down quite a lot. Thankfully, they were not my pants. Then it wasn't me that got caught, which is great news. Because if it's you that got caught, obviously you don't want to get caught. But if it ain't you, the catching of it is awesome, because that's what's revealed. You're not that. You're not the non-existent thing parading around as an existent thing. Therefore, the salvation that you so sorely seek, you lose interest in. Because if, see, this to me, well, not to me, but here, the liberation is from the need to be liberated, yeah? It doesn't say you don't need to be liberated. It says you're not that which needs to be liberated, which is the imaginary existing thing. Yes? So that was very clear, and it still stays very clear. And then you see the futility of attempting to gain salvation as the non-existent thing, taken to be an existent thing, literally. And that futility is a hallelujah. So you could have a person who's taking itself to be the existent thing and getting frustrated why he, as the existent thing, can't transcend the problems he seems to be barraged by as the existent thing. Yeah. And so he would yell out, say, I'm never going to get it. And it's frustration, and he's super pissed off, and he wants to blame everyone. But the other person who's heard that it's not it's not the existent thing, yeah, he says the same statement, but it has a completely different feeling, which is, I'm never going to get it. Hallelujah. Yeah, never going to get it. Hallelujah. So the emphasis is so different and distinct, and it's based on one thing is being clear about the presupposing, and then recognizing the mechanical nature of the mental activity, that its nature or how it moves is we bring it into contact because we are existence. And when it's brought into contact, it claims the contact as the existent thing. Yeah. Even if it hears a message that it's a non-existent thing, it hears the message as an existent thing. Yes? Sort of, and I saw this once with Course in Miracles. I was involved with, and these people were getting, see, at this point in spirituality, I figured the only thing that wasn't bullshit was demonstration, energetic demonstration, like Kundalini directed and everything. I was tired of hearing about philosophies, but if someone was like going into a trance and singing or going woo, woo, whatever. I was all for it. I figured they're onto something. The energy is changing and better than what you're wearing is changing. So, and I realized the body, it's got to be the obstacle, because like when I was a kid, I was Catholic, and every week we'd have a Catholic class or whatever, and they would talk about the 3 attributes of God, which was God is omnipotent, meaning all powerful, omnipresent everywhere, and omniscient, all knowing. And really innocently, like a kid, I was wondering why I'm not running into God. You know what I mean? I'm definitely in something called everywhere, and I'm running into a lot of people I don't want to see, but I'm never running into God. How am I missing it? Yes. How am I missing it? The only way I could be missing it if I was sitting right on it. Yeah. So so these suspicions were there, and they didn't have anything to hang themselves on until non-duality. Non-duality was the perfect answer where I was. Yeah, perfect, because it wasn't for me, it was about me. It was about the me I'm not. Most shit gets turned into being for me, which is the statement of your spiritual practices that you think are doing something are doing the exact opposite. They're reinforcing the bondage. They're not relieving you of the bondage. Now that was, tough pill to swallow, but again, I got used to my spiritual pants down, and I just sort of saw what happened. And then these things, the evidence was there. All they needed was a new way of collating it. My head would rush in and then try to make it fit its understanding. And then I saw that thing that rushes up isn't me. And then I got a different collating of the information. And this collating, when it downloaded, made sense. And it brought me to a lot of ends of things. Yeah. I've never done anything to look for what I am since that. The only thing I do is satsangs. And I didn't even plan that. I was just in recovery and trying to share a relief that felt, I don't like to use the word radical, but it felt like a real stable relief. And that urge led me to we made a website, and we put information out, and people would call me for interviews that weren't in a recovery. And then I would share, and then I saw spiritual addiction, by when I'd go to their groups and I'd see it was sticking out like a sore thumb. And and I felt sorry in a way, because at least in addiction, there can be an intervention. No one's going to stop you for signing up to your 40th retreat. Yeah, if you send your money in and you send the thing, you're going to go on that retreat. There's no committee that's going to say, is this in the best interest of this person to do another retreat? Yeah. In AA, in recovery, if it goes out too far, you're going to get stopped by the police or something. So I've never seen anyone crash a satsang and drag someone out of there, which actually they should, tell you the truth, many times. I remember when I was speaking in Toronto, a guy had a head full of AA, non-duality, and he came to the satsang. And I actually said, you should just go do some service. Go to a soup kitchen and help out there. It'll be better for you than another book or another talk, really. Yeah, so this stuff sort of landed, and then not only landed, it shifted the ground or the basis that I was living from, and that which was just taken for granted came under suspicion, healthy suspicion. And you don't have to go through every card of a house of cards. Yeah, if you see just a couple of cards in the house, you can get it's a house of cards. Yeah. You don't have to go, you don't have to say, I'm not that every time you see you're not that. You say it as a helpful thing for a while, but it's not going to, it doesn't become a practice or a process or an adherence. It's there temporarily because the point is it's based on and rooted in a fact. You are not that. Yeah. See, when something that's not a fact to appear as a fact, there's got to be a lot of reinforcement, a lot of advertising. Yeah. But if you, with some fucking grace or luck, actually tell the truth, yeah, the truth is going to just implode in it. Yeah. So when you said all this shit, but this one time you go, I'm not that. And then there's a different ring to the bell and you wait a minute. You mean I'm not that? Yes. And then you see that which you're not tries to be you a lot, a huge amount. But what you are doesn't try to be you at all. Yeah. It just is. It's ever waiting at all times, right where you are, with no requirement necessary to engage with it. Because you can engage with it. You are it. Yeah. So, yeah, it's been, it hasn't been a good career choice, tell you the truth. I would love to be able to teach levels and then give out belts for each level. And then you'd have to subscribe for the more esoteric teachings and more money, obviously, on and on and on. But basically, your success as a satsang or as an inviter is no one shows up after a while. And if people show up, it's just for a community, literally. Because, I mean, the message doesn't need to be drilled into you. It doesn't, because it's true. You can come by a whisper. It can come when you least expect it. The aha isn't something from the outside. It's an echo from a knowledge that's already there. You hear it in time and you go, there's an aha, because it knows. See, when your head is constantly trying to tell you you're going to be something for a long time. If you hit this, it tells you it's always been this way. Like once, it doesn't keep saying it's always been this way. It just tells you emphatically it's always been this way. So all your shenanigans, all your, I'm close to it, I'm disconnected, I lost it, I found it, all of that has absolutely no meaning whatsoever, because it's always been this way. Yeah, so it's very cool. Yeah, so that's sort of the way it came about. And it's constantly, like Ramana says in a beautiful statement about the story of the lady with the necklace, he says, this isn't realized, it's always realized. You see, that's beautiful. It's always realized. So there's no realization of it. The realization is about what you're not. And then the qualities that make us reveal themselves. Yeah. And then you reveal that which you wanted to have a realization of is that which is always realized. Yeah. Wow. You would probably lose interest in realizations if you got that it's always realized. I lost somebody, but I have Kerry. Let me see. All right.
Yep.
We can open it up. Oh, there's David Bitterman. I feel like I just dropped into your little world there, David. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone, you get the drift of it, yes?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're not going to spend, just like a simple example of certain absurdities. And one of them was, for a period of time, there was a lot of books about getting into the moment, how to get into the moment, and then how to really get into the moment, and then how to stay in the moment. But they were all predicated on a lie that you could be out of the moment. Yeah, and this is sort of the non-dual logic. It isn't about getting into something new, It's realizing you've never been out. Yes, that's the beauty of it. And that logical, it seems like a twist when looked at from a mental logic, but that twist is its signature, non-duality. When it whacks you, it's going to have this little twist that you know, the seeker and the sought. No, the seeker is the sought. Boom. Yeah, time and space collapses. And it doesn't collapse, it never expanded. The seeker is the sought. It's a fact. It's not like, oh, you sought so well as the seeker, you are the sought. No, the seeker is the sought right this moment. And it's not sword, S-W-R-D, it's S-O-U-G-H-T. Some guy saw me after 8 years and he thought I was saying the seeker is the sword. And he was trying to figure out what sword, Japanese samurai sword or something. And finally he met me live. I said, no, I'm sorry. It's sword, S-O-U-G-H-T. So now when I say flaw, I say F-L-A-W or F-L-O-O-R, because these confusions arise. Yes. Yeah. So you are what you're looking for. Yeah. All right.
Oh, we have BC with like, I think he wants to say something.
BC.
Hey,
BC.
Paul.
Hey.
My name's Brian, actually.
Hey, Brian.
I got so much energy coursing through my veins. I don't even know what, oof. Well, anyway, so what seems to be happening here is like, it's the ultimate conundrum of these two sides of selfing. So I got this like super shameful like self that's happening. And then at the same time, there's like a special one that's trying to cover everything up and become the special seeker, the finder, the enlightened one, shit like this. And yeah, and it's an immense amount of tension between the two. And it's just like neither one of them, both of them are just like they're split. They you know, like I can't access one from the other or whatever. So it's like a real schizophrenic fucking weird situation. And so I try to face the trauma or the shame, which fails seemingly. I mean, like I don't really know ultimately. And
Yeah,
then the other side, yeah,
Yeah.
you get what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the
So
thing is, in this case, it's neither of them. Yeah, because
right.
there's the unknown one that's seeing both of them. So one of them isn't seeing the other. They're both being seen by what you are. Yes. And you're neither of those. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? How would you have so much knowledge of both of them? You didn't get it from them. They
Well, the
don't
claiming comes
dish
in.
out knowledge about the other. They don't dish out knowledge about themselves much. So you must have seen it. Yeah. Not as you, but as an, let's say, awareness. Yeah. And not seeing with your eyes, obviously, seeing with something that's much more understanding than eyes. Eyes can be fooled very easily. Yeah. Yeah. So, and if it gets too much for you, just take it easy. Also, breathe deeper, you know, just because what happens is, you know, the flies are surrounding. You keep trying to say there is no shit, but the flies aren't moving because they sense shit. So you just got to realize you're not that shit. Yeah, that's all. And then the flies will dissipate. They will. The flies will lose interest. It's like when someone, you know, when I was traveling in Asia, and you'd be in some weird guest house in Laos or something, and big cement block, and they would be tons of moths, like tons and tons of moths. because there was a light, yeah? Now you're trying to get rid of the moths without just seeing the reason why they're there. They were there because of the light. So if you just took the bulb out, all the problems with the moths disappeared. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. So this is the thing. If the one doesn't really bring relief by seeing the other, by seeing both of them, that's the relief. Yeah, the seeing both of them as it's not I'm either that nor you're neither that nor the other. Yeah, yeah, and then just that pause is like it doesn't even have letters or words, and it's just a sentence, and it's a question mark. That's all, and it's a healthy, and more gets revealed by not doing much. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just see that. To me, when I was younger, when I was really young, I was driven by like the narrative in the head was like a policeman. Yeah. I had an Irish grandmother and I was perfect in first grade. I never cursed and never did shit. And it was like living with a big fucking stick up my ass. Yeah. And so the only way I could get relief from this policeman narrative was the thief narrative. And I would have continued listening to the thief, but the consequences got too grave. Yeah. Where when I first started to drink, I realized I had magnetic appeal to people in uniform. I just immediately attracted arrests and shit. Yeah. It was amazing. I mean, the strangest things would happen and I'd end up in jail. So I get sober, struck sober, and who shows up in my life? The fucking policeman again for about 4 years where I had to be perfect. It was just insane. And I couldn't take the course of the thief. And then there was another possibility I never imagined. I could listen to something that wasn't had anything to do with the policeman or the thief. Yeah, there was a hidden, it was like, let's make a deal with the third, there was a third door. I didn't know there was a third door, which was losing interest in the thief and the policeman. Yeah. And yes, and that sound, the closest thing that captures that sound is the understanding of non-duality, in my view. Yeah, truly. Yeah, so it allowed me to hear that which I wasn't hearing because my ears are plugged when I'm listening to the policeman or the thief. Yeah, I'm truly not hearing shit. So this one, I started to pick up stuff and another language was spoken. Yeah, because thoughts are always about shit. They can't capture anything. They're just about stuff. And that which is narrating doesn't experience, it narrates. It critiques and goes over what you've already experienced. It takes something that's already been cooked and then it's like one of those food critics. It's fucking dead and it goes over it, over and over it again. Yeah. And this brings you not anywhere because you've never left that which is before the two narratives. You've never left. You have never left. You may believe it, and your believing it is actually held as a thing. Yeah. Because a thing is what can leave and arrive. A thing is what can take a path. So listen to what they call their spiritual paths. What takes a path is a thing.
Yeah.
Spirit's not in a location, nor does it move on legs. It's just it's a space. What path is that? What is this? What spirit's not going to take a path to spirit? It's just crazy to me. So everything is framed as a body, the language and everything. And so I remember when I was with this course, I forgot it. And I realized the body is the obstacle, I thought. So, and there was a lesson in the Course in Miracles, which was, I am not a body, I am free, for I am just as God created me. So I was chanting that basically. And then I realized the only thing that would chant it's not a body is a body identification. That which is not a body is very clear. It's not a body. It doesn't have to. Will someone please describe to me? No, what's not a body is very clear. It's not a body. It's not wishing to not be a body. The only thing that wishes to be a body is something that believes it is a body. This is what you see. And then there's a loss of interest in it. Because trying to redirect interest, trying to put interest in something else doesn't fucking work. The death knell of this, that you're not, isn't a victory or vanquishment. It's irrelevance when you lose interest in it. Yeah. And you cannot lose interest in it as it. If you're already seemingly in the act of being identified as it and you try to lose interest in it, that's interest in it. Yeah, this is the fuckaroo, really. So hopefully it's you, you know, I just hope it, the whole house of cards, you don't have to, the house of cards doesn't need to crash. You know, a house of cards isn't firm. Yeah, you don't need, I need a demonstration of the house of cards is on a shaky foundation. A house of cards is a shaky foundation. Yes. You get something so convincing, you're not looking to be convinced anymore. Yeah, it's ends, it's over. And then whatever, you know. I asked Hertz, we rode a bicycle all day and people were bitching about it. It's too long and blah, 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 on and on. And then, yeah, everyone, you know, chanting, I'm not a body, but they're uncomfortable because the air conditioner is not on. Yeah. But I'm not a body. No, that which is chanting it's not a body is the body identification. Yeah. That's the mechanicalness of it. Yeah. You don't have anything to do with it, literally. Yeah. You're like the sky. Your participation in all this stuff is like the sky's participation in with the cloud. Yeah.
Yeah.
It basically has nothing to do with it. The cloud appears in the sky, the sky never gets rained on. Yeah. The clouds don't block the sky. The sky just holds everything and yet is not affected by any of it. That's like mind. That's like what we are. Yeah. All this stuff comes and goes, and you may think it's going to leave a lasting mark. It doesn't. Time washes away all this shit. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. It's been a very helpful, you know, it helped me by not helping whatsoever. It left me with my own devices naked, and it was great because I saw them as not my own devices. While my devices were being fed by hope and all this shit, they were still thriving. But when they got starved and they were still trying to get it, I saw the banality of it, so to speak. Yes. They're never gonna, it's like that hungry ghost in Tibetan Buddhism. Small mouth,
Right.
are never gonna be fucking filled. Yeah. So I don't need to go through any of that fucking anymore. Yeah. I mean, if the point has to be constantly reapplied, that ain't the point. That's torture. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah. Take
Well
care.
said, Paul.
It's not so, yeah, just
Yeah.
well, to suggest just don't act out, which for me would be getting loaded, and don't die and everything gets cool. Yeah.
Keep getting told this. Yeah, just don't die.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah. Well, the fact is you weren't born, truly. What's going to die is the idea that the non-existent thing was an existent thing. That idea is going to die. Yes. Yes. Most mental ideas die. They were born and they die. We're not of that nature. We did not come about and we're not going to depart. Yeah.
No.
We're the space for everything that comes about and departs. Yeah. In your little world and in a big. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you get a reprieve every day. You're gonna go to sleep in an hour or so. Christ, can you imagine
True
if
that.
you were running the world and you're out to lunch for 1/3 of the time? Yeah, you're not doing shit.
True that, man. Yeah, I
Imagine
ain't
if you
doing
had to
shit.
digest your food, you'd have a fucking backup for months. I forgot that burrito on Monday or whatever. Pumping your blood, we wouldn't have lasted 10 minutes. We would have been distracted and we would have died. Something knows not to give us much power, yes. Most of this shit's voluntary.
Thank God, man.
Voluntary. Just something keeps us going, not yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. And if it gets
Thank
too
you,
much,
Paul.
call somebody.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a
So
non-duality hotline. No one
this
ever answers. You just get a silent pause, and then you come to your senses. Well, we're here, bro. You're a lifetime member of Zen Bitch Club.
oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
there's an
Good man.
incredible insurance policy. Yeah, life
That's
insurance.
good, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. What a blessing to be here.
Oh yes. Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
great. Hey, Dylan.
Hey,
Dylan's
man.
coming
Thanks.
for round 2.
Dylan's coming.
Yeah, well,
Thank you, Brian.
yeah, loved all that. Thank you so much. I just wanted to chime in and just say how silly it is that we have to convince ourselves that we're alive with those the obsessive not this, not that, you know. I don't know. I just love that point.
Well, yes, see the netty, not this, not this. There's still left an assumption that it's you that's saying not everything else, but you stand alone. Netty goes to, I've said I've netted everything, but not the one that's been netting. Yeah, yeah. Well, you're open, Dylan. Just a thing will just come in and then it will leave, but it'll leave stuff, and that stuff will sort of attract attention, and that attention will be stilled attention. And to me, that's presence, literally. I believe interest and attention, not directed by the head, is presence. Yeah. Most attention and interest is constantly being put on things, thoughts, feelings, everything. And it's exhausting in a way. But when you lose interest in that, the interest and attention takes its natural state, which is presence. It's not moving presence, it's presence. Yeah, that's what you, and then that becomes your guiding thing, not the head. Yeah. And if you're present, that makes you available. And if you're available, that makes you of service. And that to me is the key. It's not you being in service, you're of service. It's not you being in presence, you are of presence. It's not you deciding to be available, you're always available. Yeah, that's a
Right.
different ballgame.
Yeah. I wanted to share an experience I had yesterday. I was hiking with a class at my university, and we were talking about philosophy and talking about, you know, Eastern teachings. And I was trying to explain non-dualism to a friend of mine, and failing.
Yes.
And there was a moment where I noticed, well, right, like I felt that I noticed an animal, like a bird in a tree. But then I realized that the noticing happened before the
Yeah.
ascribing a noticer,
Yes.
and that was a really helpful moment.
Yes. Yeah. That's is a correction of that which is after implied to be before. So you see that which is implying to be before as an after. Yeah. That's like seeing the horse in front of the cart. Yeah. That becomes, yeah. That, like we say in AA about certain things, you sincerely take a position and then you get established in a position. So that seeing the verb aspect of life before the noun interpretation of life, that gets established. Yeah. It will. It does. Yeah. And it explains a lot that the noun can't get. Yeah. But through verbing, recognizing the verbing, it tells you a lot about the noun. And the noun is just is the figurehead of an interpretation. It's not living, it's an interpretation of living. Yeah, and then the interpretation of living is put before the living. And now you feel like you're the doer of a lot of shit you have nothing to do with. Yeah. So you believe you started to do something, so you should stop doing something, and it gets an engagement that rolls into a big thing. Yes. Because the noun can't get relief by doing verbs. It doesn't work. Yeah, it strengthens the idea of the noun. You see the noun from the verb instead of trying to use verbs to change the noun. Yeah, you see the noun from the verbs. So, and then the before is the before now, and then you got a vision of seeing what's after. Yeah, and it starts. It just cleans up. It cleans up the lens you're seeing through. Yeah, because most that language has you as a noun. Yes, so that system is talking to you in a language. Let's say English. Let's say, and we're in Italy now, and my girlfriend, I hope she's still my girlfriend, is in Italy, and she notices that English has a lot of ownership. You know, I'm going to take my shower, or in Italy, they'd say, I'm going to take a shower, you know, or I'm going to eat, what?
I'm gonna take the shower.
Oh, I'm going to take the shower, or I'm going to eat my food. They just eat food. Yeah. So you see, there's a lot of owning going on, and that noun, just a lot of shit lands and coagulates, and yes, to the point where you're thinking you're such a doer, and you're the cause of everything, that you believe you can be out of a moment, and therefore you think it's a noble desire to get into the moment, but it's only a reinforcement of a lie, in a sense, that you could be out of the moment. How's that going to work? How it works is it's going to fail you. So you trying to get into the moment is going to fail you, and it's going to piss something off, and it's going to be a hallelujah for something else. Because why I can't get into the moment is I've never left the moment. See, that's the beautiful thing. I had it once with a long event, and I had a cathartic thing going on. I can never get back, and you know, like the prodigal son. I really fucked up, and never blah 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 blah. And then after a couple of days, I realized the reason why I can never get back, because I never left. The head never would have come up with that. Never. It would have just kept going on and on. But non-duality slipped this little idea in. Hey, the reason why I can never get back is I never left. That's a huge hallelujah. Yeah. So I don't know how many times it's going to take, but life, I think, will deal those cards, and usually one will be enough to switch the interest and attention. It can go to 50%, 0.1. It changes everything. Yeah. You lose a sufficient amount, enough interest in the selfing, it produces a pretty strong basis. Yes, doesn't get shook much. Yeah, yeah. All right, anyone else? I think we see Laurie.
Yeah. Laurie and David Bitterman both.
What this is like Garrick and Ruth. I don't know. Gotta get my curve ready. All right, Laurie.
You said we were never born and we would never die, and of course I've heard that before, and I just can't I don't know, I just can't get there. What is your take on that?
That's great because you're not that which can't get it. Exactly. So that which thinks they were born and are going to die is never going to get that you were never born and you're never going to die. It's never going to get it because its programming isn't AI, it's programming. You're programmed as a thing, and that's how you think and how you receive and how you grok stuff from that basis. Yeah. It's not the stuff and the information, it's what's claiming to be the hearer of the information is the dilemma. And that's the importance of knowledge. It isn't the knowledge, it's who the hell has the knowledge is the important point. Yeah. So I had it with I was doing a talk in Dublin, and the last day I was working I was working for another person, and he'd have me speak at his retreat. And at the last day, people that didn't pay, for the retreat could come. And so we were there. And so a guy says, "Oh, I've heard you, and you seem like there is no body. It comes really easy to you, but it seems impossible to me." And I said, "Yeah, because you're talking from being a body." So the system is going to protect itself and just say it's impossible that I cannot not be, because you're hearing it from the body. Yeah. So yes, so it's beautiful because you're not that which cannot understand that it hasn't been born and it's not going to die. It's never going to understand it. It can do lip service to it, but the programming is going to supersede it all. Just realize that's not you. Yeah. 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 I felt, there was a lot of mistakes. And I share a lot of them because I went through reviews, I didn't ask for the review, but things showed up. I had a lot of misunderstandings. Yeah, I did. I thought that the body was going to get it. I did. I thought it was necessary for me to understand these things. It's absolutely not necessary for me to understand, because the way I understand things is from a pre-understanding. Yeah. Everything that comes in new gets neutered. It does. It's not, I'm not doing it. It's just this how the system works. Yeah. The system will absorb everything and tries to fit it around the system. It does. That's what it does. Now, people believe they're doing that. They're not. Yeah. And see, I run into people in recovery where they believe they hate themselves. You do not hate yourself. Something may hate you, but it's not you. It's not what you are, or you're your own worst enemy. You are not your own worst enemy. Yeah. These things are misunderstandings. You're owning shit that you don't have anything to do with. The head is mechanical. If consciousness brings it into contact with something, it's going to claim that something to reinforce its understanding. It's not open to any new understanding that would take the place of its understanding. It will absorb understandings to make a bigger, better understanding. But if something really disputes the primary act of understanding and shows that it's completely biased from the get-go, it has no fucking interest in that. It would sign up for 50 years of becoming something. It has no interest in being something. None whatsoever. Because it's busily being itself. Yeah. This is the core of non-duality. It starts at the premise that things all arise from, and it disputes it in a silent way, and you become that which was the yay is now going to be the nay. Yeah. You're not going to, you're not, it's like the manufacturing of consent is going to manufacture that consent in and of the same system that you see as not you. Yeah. Yes. And this thing I I believed, like when this stuff started happening and I was sharing with people, I naturally felt I had to get better. You know, I mean, I can't be a sloppy vessel or a fucking like that. I've got to become like a saint or something. And then that which was coming through just told me, don't do anything. Just go to thrift stores and look at Yankee blogs and shit. Yeah. Do things that mean nothing to your fucking magnificent head and just keep showing up and I'll come through or whatever. Yeah. And over the years, the mechanical aspect of it became very dominant. And I saw how personal that mechanical aspect is taken. People, when they hear the idea of selfing and they think they get it, they call me up and they go, I really got the idea of selfing and I've been selfing all day. That's not it, you see? There's no you that's selfing. There's no you that's being done to by selfing. The selfing implies a historical you. That's what it does. So it's not like you're going to become the you. It tells you you already are. So your possibilities are severely diminished when you are already that. And I'm telling you, this mental activity uses time unbelievably. It knows its premise comes after, but it assumes that it's before. Yeah. Yeah. It does a weird thing. So the verbing, and one of the verbings is selfing, and that selfing implies a noun. And when that noun's implied, it's implied to be before the verbing. Even though it's of a verb, it now says it's the father of all the verbs. Isn't that insane? The verb of selfing implies that there could be this idea of being a long-lasting, independent, separate entity. And then suddenly that idea now is the father of all the verbing. No, I did that. I should have done it, on and on. Yes, see it? You don't have to look that far. Look at the beginning. The beginning is going to tell you how everything goes. Yeah. The beginning, the conception of you right now in this moment is being repeated in time constantly. Yeah. You don't need to see it. See it at the beginning. Yeah. So like our friend just shared, he saw two aspects. What was seeing those two aspects? That which was seeing those two aspects is not an aspect and it can't be described. Yeah. Yet through its light, everything else can be described and can be seen as an aspect. But that which is illuminating the whole event cannot be seen and cannot be, you can't find it. Yeah. Like people who study everything, they can't study the studying. You can't get it. You can't get before it. Yeah. What you're suggested to be is in the world of after. It can't get before it. Yeah. Yet we are before it and we see it all. It's got to dawn on us sooner or later. That which has recognized every guest has never been seen. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you. Thank you, Paul.
Anyone else? I thought Zoe Banks. Does she?
It's
Oh,
David
you are
Bitterman.
David Bitterman. Yes, let's bring in David.
Zoe Banks just came in and David had his hand up.
Oh, all right.
Cool.
Get
Yeah,
in line, Zoe Banks. No, she hadn't raised her hand. I just saw her come in.
yeah, I think she just popped in when she. So yeah, you were mentioning the the claiming of the doing things and then believing because we're the doer that we shouldn't be or that we should stop those things. There's that claiming that the assumption of being the doer.
Yes, a
And
lot of shit comes up. Yes.
I know you've talked about and that it's actually the engagement that gets that it sort of the system kind of feeds off or engages with in a way. The
Yes,
engagement is
yes,
the
yes.
way. So it reminded me of the times you've talked about where people will have some, you know, experiences of the verbing or some loss of that identification, but then being surprised that a bunch of the programming continues.
Yes, well,
Yeah.
because they thought, no, yeah, because they believed they had a complete whack and something they misunderstood to be there under their domain didn't seem to get the message. So therefore, that disqualifies them from being the message. I've seen it tons of times.
But it's almost like it's that subtle like belief in doership. I think it's also makes it a little harder because some things do spontaneously change, while other things don't, you know, but there's still no doership there.
No.
But that like subtle engagement, because it's habitual, because the pattern of in the identification with it is kind of habitual too.
Well, yes,
Yeah.
something that's mechanical, like punching holes in a piece of paper, could be seen as habitual. That's
Yeah.
all it does, is punch holes in the paper.
Right. But it's
You look at
actually
it a personal lens and think that's a habit, but that's actually its nature.
right.
Hole
But
punch.
it's like there's still it's the just subtle, maybe habitual pattern of the subtle being the doer, whatever it is. Like you said, it's believing it's under its domain when it's not.
Yeah.
It gets the engagement that almost can like suck some of the attention back into it, you know.
Well, it may suck the attention back into it, but you
Yeah.
see that.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, anything that moves is a sale. What moves it is the interest and attention.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. And of course, the interest and attention is being directed to a lot of things, but you're not losing any interest and attention. It's not a quantity.
Right.
You only have like 50, as our friend was saying, 7.4 of interest and attention in the tank. No, it's an infinite well. Yes.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So when your interest and attention is, you think, in something obsessive, you haven't lost an ounce of interest and attention.
Sure.
Yeah,
And it's just programming.
you're told, we've come up with so many assumptions,
Yeah.
and they're like a web, a spider web after a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't know, you never even see the spider. It's just a huge web. But just seeing the web, you know there's a spider, but there ain't no spider.
Right. Yeah.
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 Yeah, for sure.
So, and if attention and interest is everywhere, it does. So then if the interest and attention was put at any point on the web, it would still be in everywhere. Yes?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. If you believe interest and attention was misdirected, but where is there a direction everywhere?
Sure.
Yeah. So
but the preference.
these things that seem so solid, it's like water running over a stone. Yeah. You're not asking the water to do anything to the stone. It's just its nature. The
Right.
water runs over the stone and changes the stone, which you think, what could change a stone, like a TNT or a big thing? But over time, water does a great job.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't change it, it smooths it all out. Yeah.
Yeah.
When the stone's nature seems to be hard, it actually smooths the fucker out. Yeah.
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 And the preferences, the preferences belong to the world of programming, belong to the action figure, the preferences for.
That's how the head makes its way.
Right. And then like the Zen saying, just stop cherishing your opinions. But you can program it can't.
And they would say, just sit.
Yeah.
Yeah. They weren't saying just meditate. They're just saying just sit. They're not even saying it's meditation, some of it, which is cool. Just sit. You mean just sit? Yeah, just sit. What are you doing? Sitting? Well, there you go. It should be easy. You don't have to, you're already doing it. So you've completed the mission. Just sit. See what happens. Yeah.
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 Well, I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, bro. I appreciate you. You're a lovely character, and Yeah.
Thank you. I enjoy our time. Absolutely. I'm glad to catch up here. It's been a busy few weeks. I'm glad to be back.
I've stolen some things from you. I stole those crackers or whatever, those chips.
Good
And I
trip.
like that Trader Joe's drink with the coconut and the kudzu
Mhm.
or
The
whatever that.
yuzu, the yuzu, yeah, it's good.
And Amelia knows I never like a drink, but I actually feel the electrolytes in
It's
it.
good stuff for sure.
Oh, in your little way, Bitterman, you got it going on. You got your, yeah, that's good.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
I can't wait till next time. It's great to be here.
Yeah, yeah, we'll be around sooner or later.
For sure, for sure. All right, cheers, Paul. Thank you.
I was surprised. It's very humid in Italy.
Yeah,
Expectations of a nice balmy. It hasn't been that way. I see sweaty faces in front of me.
how is it compared to remember New Jersey was like 95 and humid. How it's not that bad, I hope.
I don't have any dreamlike expectations of New Jersey. I do with
Yeah.
what it was. Yeah. So there's disappointment, but who's disappointed?
Right. Well, at least you guys all don't have COVID, right? I mean, that's a
Yes, don't
yeah.
say anything.
Sorry.
Even imagine it's a retreat, don't please.
Yeah, no.
I think it's by that word it brought it about. Yeah, it was sort of like a dog whistle. Yeah, so we're trying not to have that. Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the first person that broke the news to me is in the room. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Anyone else? I see a
don't-
giant hand out of nowhere, virtual hand.
I don't
Yes,
see any. You do?
I thought I did. It was a bigger hand. Maybe it was the hand of destiny.
I don't see any big hands anywhere.
Right? It's just an hallucination.
Well, I just
Been a
did
long
want to
day.
mention, I wanted to mention not only all that about David Bitterman, but he has a very famous wife named Natalie Wood. He's
Natalie,
married to Natalie Wood. He is.
This is true. Yeah.
And
sister of the Natalie Wood. How could she be a sister? They both had the same name, Natalie.
she's not. She's not a sister. She's
Oh.
Natalie
Just has
Wood.
the same name, but her mom's French, so it's the French spelling. There's a TH, NATH. There's a difference. But
I don't know if, Natalie didn't end well, so to speak.
no, I know. She does balance and flexibility for like senior students, so they all love that she's Natalie Wood. They love
Oh,
it.
well, that's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Yes.
People these days, we ask kids, they have no idea who we're talking about.
Well, that's good. That's good. Kathleen, thank you for that.
So Paul, I just also wanted to mention two more things.
Yeah.
Vlad's song, The Sun is Always Shining, is posted on the website. It's a great song. And I wanted to tell Amelia that she looks really pretty and relaxed in her homeland there. Thank you.
She looks exhausted. She's
She looked really pretty when she was on the video earlier. Hey, Sarah. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Trying not to sit. All the non-bodies are trying not to sit on the chair because their asses hurt from the bike. There's gonna be more tomorrow. Yeah. All right. Thanks you, honey. Thank you so much for the service, and thank Martin and everyone and for coming, and really appreciate it. I don't know what I would do, yes, if I didn't have this outlet. It'd be sort of strange. Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. Thank you. Anyone else? That's it? Hold on. There's a question. I think let me get you. I almost left you. Yes, there's a question here. I didn't talk about spiritual bypassing. No. I spiritually bypassed. You see that? Pretty good.
What is it then that went through such a super intense healing journey? Because that was real. The experiences I had.
Yes, as a body, you have experiences. And in the body thing, they're real. But in fact, this thing comes and goes. So how real is it? But you had it here as a body. Yes?
Yeah.
It came through the body, yes?
Oh, it's also very sort of inwardly.
But inward, in what's inward?
I don't know. But it was very intense.
Exactly. Things can be very, very intense. That doesn't make it real. Yeah. Dreams can be incredibly intense until you wake up. Yeah. I mean, you're not usually, unless you're in awake dreaming a lot, you're not usually, when you're confronted by a salivating giant tiger, you're not saying there is no tiger, unless you're really taking it to be a real tiger. Yeah. And yet, if you wake up in the morning, that intensity is put into a different understanding that gives you a different meaning than just being so intense in that dream. You see it, the intensity was defined by dreaming. And that brings a whole different possibility to it. Yeah. Yeah. So I had tons of intense shit. I had a 9-month run of fucking going to bed every night with an envelope of money on the nightstand so my roommates wouldn't get stuck with my body. Nothing was turning it off and everything like that. And still, it isn't real. Yeah. It was real in this, as real as this is, it was more real than this, but it was still defined as this. Yes. Yes. And now I never think about it whatsoever. It just happened and we moved on. Yeah. Now to me, like there's an old Radiohead song, your feelings doesn't make it a fact. You feel something, it doesn't make it a fact, no matter how intense it is. Yes. A lot of people go through a lot of people go, the intensity isn't quantified. People are having an intense thing, not getting the shirt they ordered and they went to pick up, it was sold to a different person. They're having an intense experience. They are. There's no scale to say what is it really intense and what is intense, is there? You felt it as intense. That person not getting what they wanted felt it as intense. Yeah. I felt it as intense for 3 months, but did it make it reality? No, it never was. Yeah. The only way it would have ever happened was if there was a body orientation. Yeah. For it to be taken to be you, it had to have some freaking form. Yeah. That could be remembered and given a name. Yeah. Yeah. And now the story is it was super intense to that name and that form. Yeah. But that name and that form is representing an understanding that doesn't learn anything new. It just tattoos the new from the same old understanding. Yeah. So yes, this is not disputing those experiences. It's disputing that there was a someone having the experience. Yeah. And is a someone who's now having it as a memory. Just like Buddha supposedly said, events happen, deeds are done, but there's no individual doer thereof. That wasn't quantified by if it was really intense, there was, yeah, that there was an individual. No, it's a statement. Events happen. Events have happened, yes? Deeds were done. Energetic things was felt, yet there is no one who felt the energetic things. That's the whole point of the message. So when the intensity becomes the dominant part of the topic and not used to point to who or what had the intensity, you're missing the point of the message. The message is to question, to use whatever's being described to point to, well, who or what was the one that was going through it? Was there a long-lasting, independent, separate thing that was there before, that went through this and is there now? Or was there just events happening and deeds are done without any individual thereof?
Okay, but can I be really honest?
Yes. Well, of course. Can you hear? But they can't hear the question, but yeah.
if
But first she's saying she's gonna be really honest, which implies something. Oh, what's happened? All right, go ahead.
well, so it doesn't feel like it happened to just a body or just a character. It feels like it happened to a deeper sort of identity, which maybe you could call a soul or like a formless sort of.
But who came up with that understanding? Who's holding that understanding? Do you believe the formless is holding that understanding, or do you believe right now what's holding the understanding is a form?
Yeah. Yeah, the moment I look at it, it disappears, so I cannot find the form. But there's a feeling of a deeper form that experienced it, like a soul-like of type of form. But when I really look, I cannot find it.
Yes, there you go. So you must be that which is looking, not that which can not be found.
Perhaps.
Well, what else could it be? When there's only one thing left in the room and it wasn't the you that you thought you were, you must be the other. Yeah. You just said when you look, you can't find it. So what is that which is looking? Could that be you? It's still here. That which you look for, that you thought was had this, you can't see it, can't find it, but that which is looking, that was looking then is still looking now. Wouldn't that be more what you call you than that which has disappeared when you look for it? This is not disqualifying what you felt. It's questioning just the ownership of it. You don't have to be an owner to have events or deeds happen. Events and deeds happen all the time. Yeah. But what's left? You have a story of something, but that which is illuminating that story is really the story. Yeah. And now you have that which was the star of the story. You can't find it now because you're using what's looking to look for what you're now saying was looking. Yeah. But right now, yeah. It's funny if there's only two left and one doesn't seem to be able to be seen, it must be what's looking is what you're looking for. Yeah. And therefore, it's never going to be lost. If you lost what's looking, you couldn't look for anything. So while you're looking or not looking, it's because of what's looking. And that's our nature. Yeah. Not of thing, not of intensity, not of a deeper identification, but of absolute emptiness, literally. And it's that which sees all of us, all of our arising and departing and going deeper and getting this and getting that. And the understanding would love to put a name and form on it. But when you ask, it doesn't appear. You don't see it. But that which is seeing is still there. So inevitably, it's like why we call it dog shit awareness. Dog shit awareness. So when the highest revelation of me is revealed and I look for it and I can't find it, you're seeing from dog shit awareness. Yeah, the dog shit awareness isn't getting many like fucking hallelujahs, but it's always that which is seeing everything. Yeah. What was seeing all the shit that I went through for those 9 months was that which was seeing when it stopped. It was the same thing. It was seeing the experience. It wasn't having the experience. It was seeing the experience, and then the experience was being had to produce an experiencer. But it was not the experiencer. It was seeing. It was awareness, yeah? And it's the dog shit awareness. So when my deepest revelation appears, it's seeing it. When my most idiotic fucking attitude dumping on someone, it's seeing it. Yeah. It's dog shit awareness. Yeah. I think that gets lost because of its, in a way, to the mental activity that likes bling, whatever you want to call it, spiritual experiences, whatever. This is so ordinary, just the constant awakeness of what we are. Yeah, through thick or thin, through intense experiences, through boring fucking weeks. Yeah. That thing that's always available at all times, I actually believe is closer to what we are than that which can't be found when we look. Yeah. Yeah. I feel that humbly because obviously that which is looking is always before that which was hoped to be found. Yes. So like when you don't mind, we're going into this a little bit, you heard it, right? So early times, I like audio more than anything, sound. So sometimes I would just follow sound as far as I could. So you hear the road and then you'd hear like, you can almost hear the blood moving and you hear the breath and everything. And I'd go back and then I would hear this buzz in me. And the buzz, it was almost like the body being generated by I am was like a buzz, like a generator puts out. And that buzz was closer than the sound of the breath or the blood. And it was more constant. It wasn't going in and out or getting how it was just, yeah. And then the sound stopped there, but what was hearing the sound wasn't the sound. I'm not hearing that which is hearing sounds as a sound. I'm not hearing it. I'm hearing all the other sounds, and I've traced back the sounds to the one constant sound, and there's still something before that. Yeah, that to me, that's the feeling of what I am. That's the sense of what I am. Yeah. And I know things because they feel so real, beg to be made real, but ultimately, their nature is not of reality. The nature of reality is the ever-present awareness of big, small, high, low, worst day, best day, all of the comparisons and value I can put on shit. It sees everything evenly. Yeah. Yeah. That made an impression on me. And I believe that's what I am. Yeah. So, yeah. I've seen the head clothe itself with incredible stuff to make it the one and only. And I always sense a seeing of it. And what is that which is seeing it? Yeah. It's not of it, obviously. It wants to be seen and be the only thing that's seen, but there's a seeing of it. And I feel that's what we are, is that pre-birth awareness that wasn't born and isn't going to depart. Yeah. It's just it's an is that can't be understood by an ain't, so to speak. It's just is. Yeah. So I acknowledge everything and it's as real can be, but it can't formulate into a solid, independent thing. Soul and no, I'm not a believer in incarnation and then reincarnation. I'm not a believer that there's a soul that's separate from other souls or is a part of souls and then they get together and they make a huge thing. I don't believe it that much. I believe there's just awareness and the head is just spinning a lot of tops to try to make some fucking sense out of what's going on. And I think it's handicapped because it's a program. Yeah. We have an understanding that's trying to understand everything. Yeah. And it gives a meaning of everything it tries to understand from its understanding. I don't see how you're going to ever escape that. So I find great relief in seeing it's not me, truly. Yeah. So, but this is not about denying anything. I know you went through everything. I just don't think it was a you. I don't. And I don't think a new you came out of it. I don't. Yeah. I don't think energy is new. I don't think it can be destroyed. I don't think it can be, energy can't, like it says, it can't be created nor destroyed. It's just a thing. Yeah. It can take different forms. It can be seen differently, but it's energy. Yeah. So, yeah, that's it. But could see it differently tomorrow. I don't know. I don't know. Like we're saying, you know, there's a lot of studying, but nothing can study the studying. Yeah, we're in a world of after, like it or not, in this dreaming. And that which is before is not of this world. It peers in this world, it holds this world, it's the space of this world, but it's not of it. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what the hell it is, but I do feel I know what it ain't in my little ballpark. And it's not a long-lasting, independent, separate thing from everything else. No. So, yeah. Anything else? Yeah. Oh, good. Well, you can pour it on. We got a couple of weeks. Yeah. And don't take my word for it. Do not lose your take of it. You just asked my take and I'm sharing it. Yeah. And, you know, I don't think more energy will convince me otherwise. I won't, don't. Yeah. I feel like I've been pushed a lot in experience, and this has become a solid understanding for years, and it doesn't seem to be shaking. Yeah. So that's all I can pass on. Yeah. When all is said and done, if something takes a new appearance, it can only be given that from that which doesn't appear. That which is always is can then appear to be anything it wants. But first it has to have the nature of being all it is. Yeah. Yeah. And I like the dog shit awareness aspect of it. I do, because the head can't make much out of it, and it'd love to, man. It would love to. I mean, I could have written a pretty good thing for a 9-month debacle of energy. Talk about intense. I was dying every day. My head, it just took reading of what was going on was mortal terror all day. I had never had a panic attack, but I think it was a long extended one. And there was nothing for me to do. The best I felt is when I was laying down, because the feeling I had was light, but also the movement of light, like the speed of light and light. It was unbearable because my fuselage couldn't take it. I thought I was going to break open every fucking second. The only peace I had is when I laid down. That's why I'm awake when I'm snoring, because that's what happened then. My body would, when I lay down, would go to rest, even though my mind was just fucking flashed out. So I know what I'm talking about with that. I'm awake when it looks like I'm snoring, because that's what was happening every day for months. Yeah. I never slept for a long time. The body did, thank God, because the body needed it big time. Yeah. So, yeah. So I feel I have some creds to talk about it. Yeah. And all the incredible things, for them to be noted, had to be seen. Yeah. The events themselves can't describe themselves. Something sees the description, which is of the head usually, and then something sees that. Yeah. All right, thank you. All right. Yeah. Anyone else? Yes. Yeah. Well, it's a lovely night. Zen bitch slap once again. Yeah.
Very low. Thank you.
We're going to bed. I'm sorry. Hey, thank you, everyone. Let me say goodbye, and that's it, because I like doing that. Goodbye from Pescara. Let me see. All right, we've got, all I got is David Bitterman. He's the only person I need to say goodbye to. He's going to say goodbye to everyone else.
Cheers. Thank you.
It's just you and I, Dave.
I love it. Just
Oh, you have it on speaker view?
I tried it, but it's not working so much. I see Zoe. Nice to see you, Zoe, as always. Kathleen, I have you as the main thing on the screen. Laurie, Bitterman, and Hedderman, but it's called Barbara. Wow.
Barbara, yeah.
I've entered the reincarnation during the talk. I have my name, I'm under Barbara on the Zoom. Wow, I became Barbara. Wow.
Did you say Ananda Barbara Baba?
No, that's going to come later. It's just
Okay.
Barbara for now. I'll be working on some added names later. I got to go shopping.
Yeah.
Or some new clothes. Got to get some new clothes now. All right. Thank you. See you, everyone. I don't know. I can't see everyone. I'm just going to give you a blanket. Goodbye. We will be here.
Here, Paul.
We'll be here Tuesday morning, right? Yeah. Oh, there he is. The guy, the man from Vista. Nice to see you.
You too. Good to see you, Paul, and hear you.
See everyone. Thank you so much for all the
Thanks,
support.
Paul.
Thanks,
Thank
Paul.
you,
Wonderful
Paul.
sad
Thank
song.